Hey everyone, Josh and Ternes here from the C3 Comic Show, and as promised, we're bringing you a further in-depth look at Injustice: Gods Among Us. It's a fighting game that was recommended by me in our Thanksgiving episode, and a little more about the game. Again, it was made by the same people who have done the Mortal Kombat games, so it runs off of the Mortal Kombat engine with some serious upgrades and different things that Mortal Kombat doesn't have. First and foremost, it is a superhero fighting game, which is cool in the aspect of most fighting games, like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. The characters can take this huge amount of punishment and do crazy things, but they don't really have the backstory that superheroes would, that would allow them to do these superhuman acts of strength and feats of amazement. So right off the bat, the superhero fighting game aspect of it is really awesome. Most of the time you don't get a fighting game for the story, but this game is a little different in the aspect that it does have a really cool story. If you're a comic fan, you'll enjoy the story. If you're not a comic fan but you enjoy fighting games, you're going to like the game for the fighting aspect. A little bit about the story to get you intrigued and nothing more is in the Injustice, the Joker blows up the city metropolis with a bomb, and it forces Superman to kill Lois Lane and his unborn son, which is a no-no. So Batman is interrogating Superman, and we all know that Batman can't kill his enemies, unfortunately, but this time Superman is pissed beyond belief. He completely snaps, he goes crazy, and kills the Joker. After killing the Joker, he decides to launch Superman's regime and take over the world. Batman doesn't want that, so he has his band of whatever he would call it, his league, Batman's league or whatever, who tries to fight them. They're unsuccessful in this universe, but they discover an alternate universe, in comics, surprise, alternate universe, where Batman's nuke never went off. So they're able to fight Superman in there. Do they succeed? We don't, you have to get the game to find out. But the main reason for the story being it the way it is NetherRealm Studios worked with some DC writers, and they basically wanted to make a game to where if Superman's fighting Superman, there's a reason for it. Same as if two good guys are fighting each other, two bad guys are fighting each other. There is a plot line that would be feasible for these characters to be fighting each other. So without further ado, me and Ternes are going to step inside Injustice for a closer look. So right off the bat, you have your standard fighting game modes, single player, multiplayer, bonus feature. Just to go over them real quick, if you play as single player, you can play the story, where you have the battle mode, which is your classic ladder climbing, non-story fighting thing like you're used to most fighting games. The Star Labs are kind of one-off missions that you use to unlock bonus features, which we'll touch on a little later. But they're super specific tasks, two heroes that are challenging, but they're beatable and they'll make you better, at the game. Then of course there's your single fight and training modes. If we get into the multiplayer, you can play Versus or Xbox Live. Xbox Live, there's two modes. There's like a competitive and just a casual play. This game is played at E3, so it is a competitive game that people do train year-round for, and there's a lot of really good fighters out there. For the bonus features, when you start unlocking things within Injustice, you can customize your player card background. If you ever play online, that's how people see you. And your portrait, stuff like that. But the cool part is if you go into the archives, they have a lot of concept art. And if you're a comic fan, if you're into art, different characters, bios, and stuff like that, music, it's all here. But you have to unlock it using the Star Labs. So you get rewarded for your hard work. But now let's get into the actual game here. Nope. Okay. So as you can see, we have a roster of 20 heroes and villains. They have the most popular ones in your Batman, Superman, Joker, Harley Quinn. But they've definitely dug deep. These guys are comic fans. They know that there's more heroes and villains out there than the main ones you always see, like Shazam or his enemy Black Adam, Killer Frost.
There's a whole lot, like a Cyborg, Raven, Hawk Girl, which is awesome to see. Ares, Deathstroke, Doomsday, you name it. There's pretty much a person from that specific like heroes universe if you're into that kind of thing.
All right, in different stages you can fight on. We'll just go to one of my favorites here, Joker's Asylum. Now, the cool thing about this fighting game that a lot of other games don't have is interactive backgrounds. There's been a couple, like maybe Soul Calibur games, I believe, where you could transition the levels and stuff, and you can do that in this one, but it's done entirely differently. So right off the bat, aside from level transitions, you can use the environment as a weapon or to get away from your opponent, close the gap, etc. Every hero's moveset is designed to play, how the hero is. Like the Flash is really fast, so lightning speed. Deathstroke is a weapons guy, so you would obviously zone people with your guns. Or he brings out his swords when it's up close. Combo system in this game is a little different. I actually like it because it's more of a timing thing, kind of like how Arkham Asylum is, where you can sit and button mash, but it's not going to get you anywhere. You have to kind of dance around the controller per se in the correct combination to pull off the combo. Every superhero also has something called like a super move. In Mortal Kombat, this was your X-ray, and so we look here. Flash is doing his signature run around the world punch. All of these are designed, or each hero has a different one, so they're unique to the hero.
Okay. Well, what's cool about the level transitions in this game is as you can see right there, they involve other characters, which is always awesome. They still do damage to your character. They bring you to a whole new part of the level. And actually, this is even another level in-game. You can play at this part. This is like a separate starting area, so you can go from certain level to certain level. It's pretty awesome.
Each character also has a B ability, which does something special. Like Deathstroke's, if you hit B, while his B is active, his secret move, he doesn't miss with any bullets. With flashes, you can speed up time for him, but it slows it down for everyone else. So the more characters, every character is definitely unique in this game.
Yeah. There's a few. What's cool too is it's pretty balanced from what I've seen. There's no real overpowered characters that I can recall ever seeing in the game. I think they may have nerfed a couple of them after it's released, but it's all pretty well balanced now.
Yeah, from the competitive side, I did play this game competitively when I first got it, and there was some, I think Batman and Superman got nerfed a little bit. Some of their combos were a little too easy to pull off, or they juggled, but there have been updates, and there's also downloadable content where you can get Zatanna, Zod, Martian Manhunter, Scorpion. I don't really agree with the Scorpion being in here. They should have added.
Well, the thing with it is, it's really cool that Scorpion's there. I'm a big Mortal Kombat fan. Scorpion's one of my favorite fighters in that game. But that's kind of the problem at the same time, is that this is an entire game that was devoted to comics. We have all these different characters from all these different comics and lines and universes, and it's all awesome. And then they decided to add Scorpion in, and he just doesn't belong. They could have highlighted another comic character. There's so many other choices they could have done, but they decided to take the route of having a Mortal Kombat character. And we already have a game called Mortal Kombat vs. DC. I have my own personal gripes with that game, which I won't get into right now. But essentially, it's if you want to play a DC character versus a Mortal Kombat character, there's already an entire game for that. They could have added anybody else, and it would have been perfectly fine, but they decided to take someone out from who wasn't in universe and then just throw him in, and he feels really tacked on.
As for ease of pickup, if you're new to fighting games in general, back in the day when you played fighting games, you didn't know any of the special moves. You really didn't, you had your kick and your punch, but if you want to do special moves or super moves, you just had to, you either knew a kid who knew, or maybe you got on your AOL and like looked up something on Game Winners or Game Freaks or whatever. But in this, you push start and your special moves are all there. So it kind of gives everyone a chance to know and really learn the character without having to sit and button mash and figure out what does what.
One of the other cool things I liked about this game too was all the different dialogue they recorded for all the characters. They all have very specific, character-specific dialogue in a sense. Like when you do the wagers, I think one of the things Harley Quinn says is like her grandma fights better than that, you know. And then Nightwing will be like, "You fought your grandma." It's cool because it's actual.
Yep.
It's not just like generic phrases every time.
Deathstroke will do that too. If he goes against like the Green Arrow or somebody that he's fought in his actual timeline, he'll know that. So overall, I'd have to give rate Injustice pretty high on my scale. There's not many things that I don't like about it. The story is solid. The whole alternate universe thing is kind of overdone, but if you're a comics fan, that's just something you accept. Every storyline is going to have alternate universes. The online is, I never really had any problem with it. Actually, the one thing that I do not like about how this works is there's a ranking system, so you as a player level up, and you can level up by doing star labs, by fighting just like we are, by doing your single player, or obviously by winning online matches. The problem is when you're matched in an online matchmaking, you're matched based on your rank most of the time, unless there's not many people on because it's like 3 in the morning or something. But that skill level isn't true to how you would play online per se, because if you've just beaten the story, you're like level 30 or something. But if you play online and win a bunch of matches and become level 30, you're not of equal skill. So I think that they should have some sort of distinguishing skill between the two. But other than that, I mean, it's a solid game. It's balanced. There's not many glitches. It's a lot of fun. Whether you're a comic fan or not, you're going to enjoy the game. Ternes, what are your thoughts on it?
And I love this game. I got it like day came out back in the day, and it's amazing. I love fighting games. I play them all the time. I'm not good at them, but this is one that I had a lot of fun. I don't really do a whole lot of the online play for this game. What I actually do play a lot of though, as far as this game is concerned, is I play Injustice Mobile. It's essentially the same storyline, same characters, but it's a card game mixed with the fighting aspect of it. And you gotta just collect character cards, and that's how you unlock different characters. And you level up by doing online battles. They have challenges every couple weeks where you can unlock a new character, and it's just an overall awesome game. There are in-app purchases which you can use to obviously further advance yourself, but for the most part, I mean, it's awesome to play this game on console, but then to have basically the same version on my phone is pretty awesome. So I would highly recommend checking that out if you like this game, or just trading card games at all, or even just mobile games, whatever. Check it out.
So yeah, that about wraps it up. Highly recommend it. If I had to give it a rating, 9 thumbs up out of 10. It's definitely got Josh's seal of approval. It's easily my favorite fighting game. It's my best game, that I play competitively, and I play a lot of games online. So I really like this game. I'm really looking forward to the new Mortal Kombat game because they took the Mortal Kombat engine of the, I think it was like 2011 game. They made it better with this game, and I really hope we see some of this game portrayed in the new Mortal Kombat game, and it'll be even better when there is Injustice 2. The comic book series, it's Injustice Year 1, they did a Year 2, and they're currently on Year 3, so the story is holding up. People enjoy the story enough to keep buying it, and I think that's going to translate into a sequel, and I really hope so, because I cannot wait for more characters and more awesomeness. So, check it out. Injustice Gods Among Us, Xbox 360, PS3, PC, next gen, it's PS4. I think it's free this month, actually, if you're a PSN member, PS Plus member, and Xbox One.
Mmm, tasty.